Did you catch the swing flaw? Watch again. I'm talking about the #1 killer of distance and accuracy in the game of golf. I'm talking about early extension. And if you're one of the 90% of golfers that suffer from this, you came to the right video, because I've got 3 very simple, very easy drills, and one of which I call the Star Wars drill, that'll guaranteed get that distance and get that accuracy back in the easiest way possible in your off season. Stick with me in this video. We're going to tell you exactly how to do it. Hi folks, Kevin Stull here. I'm the Director of Instruction at the Club at Old Hawthorne. I'm a Callaway Master Club Fitter and PGA member for over 20 years, and welcome to my channel. And I'm really excited to talk about early extension today because it is so popular. 90% of golfers have this flaw in their swing, and they wonder why they lose distance. They wonder why they're not accurate. It's a big deal. Now, what is early extension? Early extension is the act of which on your downswing, your hips go forward and your chest rises like this. And so anytime that our body movement is not rotating around and it goes forward and up like so, well, we don't have a whole bunch of space on this club face, do we? If that club is going forward like that, you're not going to hit the center of the club face. And what are you going to have to do? Since your hips aren't rotating, what's going to have to rotate? Your hands. You're going to have to make up for it, flip at some point, and try and hold on for dear life to keep that golf ball going semi-straight. We don't want to do that. Now we're back to a timing-based swing. That is too hard to stay consistent. So we've got a couple drills I want to share with you today. Right off the bat though, I want to say that because of how tight our hips are, just as American culture, how tight, we sit in cars, we sit at computers all day long. It's not like we're getting a whole bunch of mobility unless you're intentional about it at the gym. So that's why it is so popular for people to have this flaw in their golf swings. So that being said, I do want to say that I want all golfers in the very beginning to feel like they are getting enough hip depth, hip turn in their backswing. Most of the time when I'm with students, I'll see them sway off the ball a lot this way, and they're so focused on that forward turn that they forget all about their backswing turn. So we'll get into a sway position like so, but since we're not loaded properly and they start firing their hips, their butt goes forward, their chest goes up, and we early extend. So you want to feel like that your hips are turning to about 45 degree, all right? We want to get that good hip depth. Now, pairing with that, as long as you feel like you're getting some good depth in your backswing with those hips, you can use just an alignment rod like so. You can get them at Lowe's for just a couple bucks or anywhere. Now I'm inside my in a teaching studio here, so I can't stick it in the ground. I'm just going to stick it in a bucket, which you can do as well. But basically what you want to do is you want to take an alignment stick, throw it to the back side right behind your heel, and have the front side about 1 club head in front of your shin. All right? So if we tend to sway off the ball this way and shoot our hips forward, we're going to hit this rod right away. It's not going to do any damage to our shin or anything like that, but we are going to feel it, and it is going to get knocked out of the ground, most likely if you're in regular grass, or just shifted to the side with this bucket. So sometimes people will do some false turns, feel like that they are, but they're really not turning, or it's delayed. It could be a delayed turn. All right, so we're going to throw this alignment rod back behind our left or our lead heel, have about 1 club head in front of our shin like so. Start off with some slow practice swings, feeling almost like, it's going to feel almost like you're kind of flat-footed, but you're not. You're just kind of rolling to your left side. Now, a better feel for this would be to feel like your back knee is driving more towards your front knee. Therefore, we're going more to the inside and just kind of shifting our weight front. But we're not doing a whole bunch of twisting necessarily. We're not feeling that necessarily. But I want you to feel like your knee is kind of going more towards your lead knee. This will drive it towards our target, not our hips going forward this way. We want to always go towards our target, okay, and prevent our shin from hitting this stick. Just like that. Get the feeling of that. If it touches or if it moves, you know that you need to be a little more aggressive or feel a little more extreme on really bringing this knee back to your left side and feeling that good turn. Let's give it a shot. All right, we're moving on to the second portion of our drills. Now look, I want to be perfectly clear on where our weight should be in our swing as we're going down in our trail foot. This is very, very important when we're working on our early extension drills. So I think we'll see this quite often, that people will try in an effort not to rotate their club face open on their backswings and things. They'll tend to get pretty vertical as they take the club back, meaning the club just goes straight back. There's not a whole bunch of rotation. And so luckily here at the stable at Old Hawthorne in our teaching studio, we've got the Swing Catalyst dual force plates. And I see this more often. This isn't an assumption. I see this all the time. When people get into that zone, they will tend to get a lot of pressure in one side of their foot, either in their toe or in their heel, but it's not bounced. And what I mean is, in particular, when their left arm is parallel to the ground. When their left arm is parallel to the ground, a lot of people, myself included back in the day when I had to work on this a lot, did not have the pressure on the inside of our trail foot between our heel and toe. It was one or the other. We want to keep it nice and centered at this position and down so that we can actually push off that side and actually rotate back around this way. When I talked about false rotation before, when I was learning as a junior, I would have my heel rise really quickly. So my heel would rise and I'd feel like I was actually twisting my hips, but I wasn't twisting my hips. I wasn't getting through the shot. And a telltale sign of that was because I always hung back on through the swing this way. I'd hold back and I'd try to flip as well. So I had to find a way in order to keep this foot nice and planted and get through my shot. So that's why I call this one the Star Wars drill. Now look, I didn't make up the drill. I just made up the name because it stuck with my juniors and they loved it just for the name alone. Star Wars drill. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take a wedge. You're going to throw it on the ground. And you're going to step on with your heel on the back portion of it, just like this, okay? Now, the point of this, if you haven't already guessed, would be if you swing, we're trying to keep that pressure inside between our heel and toe, down through impact, and not let that heel come up too early. If it does, it drops right away. Instant feedback. So I call it the Star Wars drill because we're using the force. Use the force. Use the force of your back foot to keep that heel on that club. Get the feeling of your body shifting weight and turning back to your left and doing it and not releasing that too early. So of course, just like the last one I said, do it slow, do it right. Get the feels of it. I like to really feel like my feet are planted in the beginning to over-exaggerate it. Then eventually, after I hit, we can let go of the club and it can fall. But when you're first practicing in the beginning, I want you to do some flat-footed ones and don't even worry about finishing your swing. I just want you to feel like you're kind of just concrete into the ground, forcing those lower body muscles to work for you and loosen up. But after you feel good with that, throw that club right behind your heel and give it a shot. All right, before we go any further, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, Team KSG, as we come out with videos on a weekly basis here to help you out. So let's go on to the third drill for early extension. Now, as we mentioned earlier, what I said the two key things were for early extension. Well, your chest rises and your hips go forward, otherwise known as loss of posture. So let's say that you have a pretty good trail leg. You don't have to worry about that as we did in our last drill, but you tend to lose your posture. We can't maintain that. We tend to want to bob and weave like this, right? Up and down. Well, you've probably seen Tiger actually do this, or a couple of guys on the range. They really exaggerate their chest going down and their butt going back when they're doing drills. I'm talking they go about halfway to the ground like this to really feel that motion. We want to do the opposites. Anytime that you're trying to work on something, do the extreme opposite. Don't worry, you're not going to end up doing this in your swing, but you have to understand, you have to make your body understand what this feels like in order to accomplish it. So I call this drill the goofy drill. And it's not even a big deal. It's super easy. Anybody can do this at any time. It's just choking down on your club extremely far. So what I mean by that is, look, you take your normal grip, you take your left hand, put it over your right, put your right hand, put it over the left, just like this. That's how far you're going to choke down the shaft, all right? Now, what is the point of this? The point of this is, look how far bent over I am. I'm very far bent over. We want to feel this action as we go through our shot. Now, why do I call it the goofy drill? Because you look like a goof when you do this, okay? Now look, there's no way that you can hit this ball right here, gripping that far down on the shaft without staying down on it and maintaining your posture. If you tend to early extend at all, what's going to happen? You're going to top it or you're going to whiff it. It's not rocket science, it's just extreme feelings. So we grip very far down on it this way. Again, doing a couple practice swings, feeling like your club is brushing the grass. If it is, great. Now you're ready to step up and look like a goof hitting the ball. But see, even that was a little thin. So I've done this drill a million times. Even I have to do the extreme and go even farther than what I'm used to. Let's try it again. Choke way down, make good contact, maintain posture. There we go. There's the feeling right there. So we covered those 3 drills to really feel like you're going to maintain your posture, keep that right foot balanced, and get that weight transferred correctly to your left side. Hey, thanks for watching, and hopefully that video painted a perfect picture for you of what early extension is and 3 easy ways in order to fix it. Be sure to like and subscribe to Team KSG, and also visit teamksg.com and in your email for weekly updates.